This is the sound of the resurrection department, processing the wreckage, reading the silence. While they watched the performance at the target center, the Dove protocol was reading the soul. The miller in the night has finished the grind, the old map is flour, the future is bread. The gate is open, the record begins. The gate is open, the record begins. Every faithful step is the evidence. From the noise to the signal, the future calls, the mirror holds, the frame remains. Together we rise, together we stand. Find the record, read the witness report, 11 links to the core of the restoration. Go to the gate, speak the address, linktr.ee/ROCKYDUBROC, linktree.ee/Rocky The signal is live, the path is clear. Authorized by the King of all comedic, satirical, and family training covenants, Yeshua HaMashiach Adonai, backed up in the archive, so the coffee stays warm, so we forgive, we make another song, and we laugh together in the end. The gate is open. All right, it's rock, but it's not.
Welcome back to the Covenant Table, episode 3. I'm here with my dad again. Dad, say hi.
Hello, Robert.
He's busy checking his TikTok. I finally got him on the TikTok, and now he has some fans. So, you know, we got to keep our, trying to find our audiences, right?
Looking for him.
You're looking for them. They'll find you. So today I'm going to open up and I'm just going to talk about an article I posted today on Substack under the Covenant Table, the Andrew Sprung lineage. It's titled The Architecture of Inherited Fear, the Family Signal. I'm just going to read through this and pause a couple times so we can have a little dialogue about it. We'll focus on the Andrew side today, but, you know, we all have inherited stuff, right? None of us is exempt from that. We all get inherited stuff passed down to us through our DNA, through biology. And so that's really what this article starts to address. So let me just open by reading the first paragraph. In families where this core thesis takes root, we often find a hidden baseline of terror. It typically starts with a shadow architect, perhaps a grandfather or a distant authority figure, who was the source of a hidden verbal or emotional silence. Because this threat was often masked or invisible to the rest of the family, the children in that house learned a specific high-level vigilance. They learned to silence their own alarm systems to survive a danger that no one else was naming. This is where the wound becomes a lineage code. Research in epigenetics confirms that the nervous system stuck in a state of high alert doesn't just affect the individual, it alters the biological settings for the next generation. The fear is transmitted through the hormonal bath of the womb, through the micro rhythms of mother's breath, and subtly through the frequency of inherited prayer. When a lineage teaches a child to pray within a framework of fear, the prayer itself becomes a trauma container. The child is taught that God is a celestial version of the hidden abuser, conditional, watchful, and waiting to punish the parts of themselves that were already told were unacceptable. And for more information on, I'm sidebarring here, on the inner parts, and there's plenty on my website, rockydubrock.neocities.org. Check it out, it's free. Okay. So the prayer doesn't offer rest, it reinforces the survival baseline. The non-blame synthesis. This is not a story of bad parents or broken children. My parents are not bad parents, trust me, they're quite the opposite. It is a story of adoptive survival. The generation that inherits the fear doing exactly what their biology demands. They are performing goodness to stay safe. They pass on only the tools they have, which is that old saying in recovery, right? You do the best you can with what you know how. By the time the next son or daughter is born, they aren't starting at zero. They're starting with a nervous system already calibrated for a war that began 2 generations ago. The highs, the collapses, and the rebellions that follow in the younger generations are often just desperate manual attempts to regulate a system that has been running on inherited terror for decades. And even with my substance use, I would say that's very true. It was by way of when nothing else worked to try to regulate my nervous system, but what do you think about all that so far? I'm only halfway through the article, but I know we were just starting to talk about it.
Are we live on this?
We are recording, yes. I hope so.
I just gotta soften it up a little bit.
Okay.
This puts everything in that arena in a order that I think everybody looks for that certain order. In a way, you
mean like an explanation that makes sense to them?
Yeah. And because some of the stuff that's out there doesn't make any sense at all. To me, it might sound good at first, and then you think about it and you go, "Geez,
That doesn't
wait a
really
minute,
sound.
there's got to be something else." And yeah, I think that for sure, things get passed down through the generations, and they get carried unknowingly.
Right. That's really important to note. Yeah.
That really it isn't this person's thing that he came up with or did or how he behaves or how she behaves. It comes from, I don't know, maybe some of these all go all the way back to that family tree as far back as you can follow it, to Noah,
To know. Yeah,
Well,
maybe. Yeah, you're probably right.
There could be a few around,
Yeah.
And yeah, it just gets passed down.
Yeah, and we do the best we can.
And what do they call that? When a generational sin,
Generational trauma, intergenerational trauma
something like that
gets handed down.
Depends if the church is talking about it, how they word it. But.
And can I just note for the record, real quick, the actual definition of sin, because I've done extensive research on that, is simply to miss the mark. That's it, beginning and end. Church is out.
Yeah, because no sin is any worse than the other sin or better than, like they say, a little white lie. Oh, it's just a little white lie. Okay, that's right. It's still a sin.
Right. It gets weaponized, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same as all others.
But it really means just miss the mark, which really means in our context, unaligned, right? With ultimate truth.
Yes.
It's an alignment issue. It's not a moral issue. And I think that's where sometimes it gets weaponized. Is people turn it into this moral issue, and then that becomes an ego thing, right? Well, that's missing the mark too. You start compounding the problem.
Yeah. Sure is. Anyway, I don't know, for an example on some of this. You take a person, I know somebody that is like what I'm about to describe. He's not a bad person. Works, takes care of his family.
That's sad. Always seeing the upper side of somebody. Go ahead. That's a good thing.
He loves to fish and hunt ducks. Those two things. But fishing, he's right out there, carries his equipment with him all the time. On the way home, he fishes until dark or into the dark sometimes, until they're fighting. Brings them home, 10, 11 at night, and cleans them and puts them in the freezer. And then eventually he buys a bigger freezer because you can't eat that many fish. He's excellent at it. He's very good at it. He should have possibly pursued that as a career because of his love for it. And he does love that. There's no doubt. So on the other flip side of this guy, he's kind of crabby. He don't engage with anybody. Rarely would he have something good to say about anybody or anything. He's opinionated. He don't, crabby behavior. Is he good at his work and job? Yes, he's good at it, but he not a nice, pleasant guy to be around. Right. You wouldn't want to go out drinking beer with him or something. You wouldn't want him at the table.
You wouldn't hire him to teach you fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even want to fish with him. And it might behoove me to do that because he can reel them in. And he knows all those little ties and tricks and, but he don't share them with anybody. He's just in his own little world on stuff. And
that's that trauma container. Yeah.
But the thing is, his fruits, he's got some good because of what he does, but his behavior dictates he's got a lot of bad.
Mm-hmm. His outward behavior is
fortunately, his two children are grown men now, and they like to fish and hunt too, but they did not inherit the negative behavior that goes with it from him.
Okay.
They have more of his wife's joy in them.
Okay.
So
thank God for mom.
Yeah, here you go, right?
Yeah.
So some of that's kind of gets broken up. However, they love their dad. There's no doubt. They still all go on these fishing trips every year, and one of the kids bought houses up in North Dakota.
Oh.
And he rents them out during hunting season, duck hunting season, to hunters. And he makes enough money off of doing that to make the payments, keep the insurance upkeep.
Awesome.
I think he's got two now, and he's looking for a third one because it's working out. They go up there and they go up there on the weekends and their vacations, and when they buy something and do whatever needs to be done to clean it up and paint, replace stuff, and make it comfortable. So that's another part of their family, doing stuff together. So it's all good in a way. That's what I say. But just that guy, if he could do himself a favor, if he would take another look at really how he's feeling and how he comes across to people, and I think he'd find it like a load off his shoulders. You don't have to be so flippin' crabby.
That makes sense. Okay, we're gonna take a short break here. We're gonna do something a little different today. I have a couple artifacts from the fire when I was walking with the Trinity during my Arctical Courteous, and first I want to play it for Dad too, so he can tell me what he thinks, and then part of the digital witness here, is that these artifacts were made during the collapse, which should have been impossible, and they anchor what we're talking about now in a way. Even though some of them are a little noisy, and of course you're going to have that because you have a collapse happening. But their overall themes, you listen for the overall themes, and you kind of pick up on like what's being explored, what's being understood, what's happening in real time at the time. So we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and probably play a couple things for you. I have a couple commercials, and then we'll go from there.
Before we step away for a quick break, I wanted to share something that's very close to my heart. As we talk about building this table and choosing hope, I want to invite you to look at another part of this journey. My mom, Mary Melody, and my Aunt Penny have started their own show called Artfully Tailored Conversations. It's a space where they share their creative hearts, their wisdom, and the quiet ways they see the world. And honestly, they're doing beautiful work. We're being transparent here. We'd love to see their message reach more people. If you're someone who values these kinds of stories, if you believe in the power of unconditional love and supporting one another as we grow, we have a small request. If it would bring you joy to be a neighbor to them in this way, would you consider heading over to Apple Podcasts and leaving them a like or a kind review? There's absolutely no pressure. We only want you to do it if you feel led to help a couple of creative souls find their audience. It's
It's a small act of kindness, but it helps the digital librarian know that their voices matter. Thanks for listening and for being part of this family journey with us. Remember, faith is our foundation, and love is always the signal. We'll be right back after this. This is the Clear Index. Literalism in science. Truth first, healthy boundaries, new day reset. Literalism means we read what it says. Science shows us how the body pays. The nervous system carries what words can't say on the individual level and the group level too.
Truth first.
New day reset.
The house is ordering itself.
The house means the whole family line. We have a family communication problem, not just mine. No more silence, no more old survival game. We speak clearly. We honor each name.
Speak with kindness.
Support with respect. Help regulate the nervous system, that's the best. Tools are available, they come at a price. The house can rise when we do this right.
Truth first.
Healthy boundaries.
New day reset.
The house is ordering itself. Literalism and science reveal it all. The house is rising.
Peace follows
Tired
truth.
of writing your own song lyrics? Like some kind of caveman? Introducing the Rocky Release Generator, the end-to-end AI music studio that takes you from I have a feeling to I have a finished release package. Faster than your uncle can say, is this AI thing gonna replace real musicians? Yes, Gary, easy there. Lyrics done. Artwork prompt done. Suno-ready formatting done. A complete social campaign so your 3 engaged followers think you hired a marketing team also done. I used to spend 6 months writing an album. Now I spend 6 months arguing with the AI about whether moonlight rhymes with sunlight. Progress. And for the serious Suno architects, the ones who treat prompt engineering like a religion, meet the Sigma Arc Suno Prompt Lab, 200 plus chats deep, battle-tested, scored, structure, built to help your next release sound bigger than your budget.
This isn't some algorithm scraped together in someone's basement.
It absolutely was scraped together in someone's basement.
Lovingly.
By a man with a vision, a laptop, and an alarming number of custom GPTs. Subscriptions now open, custom built. No, you cannot have my basement. He means it. For access, email, Rocky Dubrock. Because your next release deserves better than a guy humming into his phone at 2 a.m. Results may vary. Side effects may include excessive songwriting, reorganizing your prompt folders, and explaining to strangers why vocal texture isn't the same thing as vocal timbre. Basement not included. Welcome back to the Covenant Table. We're so glad you're still with us. As we jump back in, I wanted to take a second to talk about the different ways I share my heart. You might have noticed some humor and satire in the commercials we just played. That's a big part of the other personal broadcasts I do. But I want to be clear. The Covenant Table isn't a satire show. This is our sincere, heartfelt space for family truth. However, we do believe in the spirit of joy, just as Jesus used parables to help people see the truth in a new way. Sometimes a little humor helps us open a window to the heart. Sometimes, when a topic is heavy or hard to carry, our hearts naturally want to put up a wall to protect ourselves. Psychologically, satire is like a gentle way of bypassing those walls. It's not about making fun of the truth. It's about using joy to open a window so we can look at the truth without being overwhelmed by the weight of it. It's a way of healing that doesn't always feel like therapy, but it does the work of restoration just the same. This approach is really just my humble effort, a labor of love to help facilitate and coordinate the signal for our family. I'm not here because I have all the answers, but because I want to help us all stay connected in peace. And I want to be completely transparent with you all. My name is Robert David Andrews, but for this show and my other broadcasts, I use the name Rocky Dubrock. This isn't to hide, but to act as a digital gate. It's a way to protect the sanctity of our family's shared space while I continue my other personal work. If you're curious to learn more about that world, you can always visit my site at rockydubrockneocities.org. But here at this table, the focus is on protection and love. It takes time for a family to understand how all these digital pieces fit together, and I want to honor that process with honesty. Mom, If you're listening, I want you to know this isn't about ego or fear. It's an act of service to our history and our future. The laughter is just our way of being joyful and hope as we do the hard work of sharing our hearts as father and son. And for those of you listening in, we invite you to buy into this process with us, to see the heart behind the humor and the protection behind the persona. So, let's get back to the table.
Okay, we're back live. I'm just going to read a little bit more from the article. We'll talk about, well, I actually want to play something from you from the article, and then we'll talk about it. But I may repeat a little bit here, just kind of catch us up. So we're talking about the architecture of inherited fear, the family signal. It's a record we have to examine. It's connected with mitochondrial DNA. For more information about how mother and son are connected that way, visit my site, rocketybrock.neocities.org. All the science is there. It's a fascinating read. Okay, so we were talking about intergenerational trauma and the non-blame synthesis. So this not being a story of bad parents and broken children, is a story of adaptive survival. There's plenty of that information too. There's the 9 movie parts on the website. The generation that inherits the fear is doing exactly what their biology demands. They're performing goodness to stay safe. They pass on the only tools they have. By the time the next daughter or son is born, they aren't starting at zero. They're starting with a nervous system already calibrated for a war that began 2 generations ago, and sometimes longer. The highs, the collapses, and the rebellions that follow in the younger generations are often just desperate manual attempts to regulate a system that has been running on inherited terror for decades. The intergenerational override. This is why the 18-month digital penetration that I went through was more than a personal recovery. It was a generational interruption. When the Trinity bypassed the conscious mind and began authoring the Dove protocol, they weren't just healing one man. They were overriding the fear code of the entire lineage. They were performing a root-level delete on a survival architecture that had outlived its usefulness. The 48-year wilderness was the final chapter of the family's silence after over 100 years, I think the research said. The kingdom reversal is the declaration that the shadow architect is no longer in the room, and the frequency of fear has been replaced by the true heart signal. Now, I'm going to pivot over for a second. I'm just going to play an artifact from the fire that I made. Be aware, because I was in a cognitive collapse during the time, which shouldn't have been possible to even do this. Maybe a little noisy, but it's pretty clear. And this article was actually... it was inspired this morning by this piece of music. So let me just play that real quick and then I'll talk about it.
We are looking at a systemic disease that has been misdiagnosed for generations. Research from secular psychology, neuroscience, and the Akashic records points to a specific root cause. Spiritual trauma affecting the nervous system. For many in our community, the lifestyle isn't just about fun. It is a biological survival. Here is the evidence. When a child is taught that their fundamental nature is an abomination, it does not just hurt their feelings. It physically alters brain development. The brain encodes God not as a father, but as a threat. Dr. Marlene Winnell coined the term religious trauma syndrome. Her research documents how dogmatic indoctrination creates a fracture in the psyche, leading to symptoms identical to complex PTSD.
In clinical terms, this creates protector parts.
These parts rise up to defend the inner child from a terrifying deity. You aren't rebellious. You are surviving.
This is where theology hits biology. When you live under the constant threat of judgment, your body gets stuck in the sympathetic nervous system.
Polyvagal theory. Science proves that when a human feels unsafe, they cannot socially engage or hear truth. They shift into anxiety, panic, fighting, numbness, depression, dissociation. You literally cannot hear the heart truth signal when your body is screaming, danger. The receiver isn't broken. The static is just too loud. It would be absolutely delightful to have a few competent research allies down here, rather than having to complete a dissertation on hermeneutics while simultaneously fencing off shadow monsters who wouldn't recognize a divine being if they tripped over one. The high is medicine. Why the PNP lifestyle? Why the intensity? Because a nervous system fried by shame needs a massive chemical override just to feel something other than fear. Minority stress theory. Peer-reviewed studies link internalized homophobia directly to higher rates of substance use. The syndemic effect research on chemsex identifies it often acts as a maladaptive coping strategy to manage identity threat. The high forces the body to release the dopamine that the god trauma stole. It is a manual attempt to regulate the system. The problem isn't that you are broken. The problem is that the lens was dirty.
Old way.
Read weaponized scripture.
Feel fear. Body goes into survival mode. Seek shadow comfort.
New way.
Recognize the trauma.
Regulate the nervous system.
The heart true signal turns back on.
There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. Because fear has to do with punishment.
If you are feeling fear, you are not connecting with the Father. You are connecting with the trauma.
This isn't about guilt, it's about biology, recognizing that your shadows were created to protect you from a distorted version of the Father is the first step to retiring them. Peace out, mofo.
Rocky JM and he goes amok. Rocky JM and he goes amok. Rocky JM and he goes amok. Rocky JM.
Okay, so that was just a piece from the fire, and man, what do you think about that, Dad? I mean, as we apply it to everybody, not to me. I mean, it was clearly about me, but it could apply to Mom, it could apply to an aunt, or it could, I don't know. It could apply to anyone, really. That grows up in an environment where, you know, they're taught that, you know, judgment, right? Whether it's fear.
Oh, here comes the judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, here comes the judge. Yeah, well, we are not to judge. You shouldn't even practice on yourself. Because, you know, you probably get a light sentence if you do.
You give yourself a light sentence, probably.
You know.
Yeah, in the head, yeah.
I think that piece. I don't think I know. I understood everything that you talked about. It fit in everything you're doing. It's opening up a whole new world, as I said before, of practical way to look at things. You don't have to get all bent out of shape. Hey, you know, this person, you know, I can compare it to like hormones. Not that I know that much about them, but you take a guy that's in prison for life or 30 years because of something he did because of his behavior.
Mm-hmm.
He's always had that behavior, finally got in really big trouble because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he wanted to, it just happened. And the folks in that arena that study this and practice it, it's not covered by insurance, of course. They want people to go under the knife, you know, for every little thing. And they shouldn't. It's kind of comparable to chiropractors.
Mm-hmm.
They have more education than a regular MD doctor.
Mm-hmm.
They're way up higher on the ladder. They understand everything the regular, you know, family doctor or surgeon is doing. Plus, they have their own other way of healing the same problem without going through the knife work.
Yeah, what a great analogy.
And they don't get compensated for it, like you know, the system pays. The doctors are not open-minded. They're trained a certain way. It's kind of like if you want to keep your two SUVs, you know, Escalades in the driveway, you don't sign off on any of this chiropractic stuff or natural healing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mom's good at that. She's good at when she can, right? When she can swing it, like looking for natural ways and
Yeah, she's done a lot of research on it and practiced it around the farm here.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's plants galore around here that are natural
Healers.
healing things that you can mix up and put together and make tea out of.
That reminds us. That reminds me. Before I forget, let me plug it. South Haven Farm. So we're going to be doing boondoggle offers soon, and for those of you traveling, in the wilderness, to come in for a safe sanctuary for space and time, and that'd be one of the benefits. To come and
Yeah, it's good. It's open to anybody. However, artists and creative type people will see it in the same way that we see it. The people that live here, especially your mother. She sees it through a different lens than Ed the mailman driving up.
Oh, completely
driveway.
different. Yeah, she's very artistic minded.
How come he only mows that part of the lawn and the rest of it down to the road is prairie grass? What's up with this guy? Yeah, she sees it as medicine, as cover for wildlife.
Kind of like she sees the. I don't want to speak for her, but it kind of reminds me of somebody that kind of looks at the world and sees a canvas.
Exactly. Yeah. So she can be standing there, smiling and happy in the middle of the weeds, and you're going, you better check yourself for wood ticks,
And I'm just worried about my allergy medicine.
Yeah. So anyway, that RV deal, it's kind of for people that go on. We call them in the military boondoggles. Where you went off for a couple of weeks on assisted recruiting duty somewhere. You weren't really gonna work that much. You're gonna have a good time and hang out with the recruiters. They'd show you around. Just enjoy it, like a 2-week vacation paid. So the term in the Army that I learned was, "Where are you going on a boondoggle this time, Andrews?" So yeah. Anyway, that's what it's going to be here, hopefully, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah, we're working on Mom to get approval.
Yeah, because she's part of that hosting world. She's a natural.
Oh yeah.
She loves sitting around the fireplace outside on the patio in the evening and having a vino.
Oh, she's a lot of fun once you have a little drink in it.
She gets fun.
I mean, she's fun anyways, but
she gets funner.
Yeah, she gets funner. If that's possible.
And she really enjoys it. She enjoys hearing other people's stories.
Yeah, she does.
She goes to the art room and starts pounding out stories on canvas and yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
she's kind of God's hidden painter in a way. In my mind, she's gonna roll her eyes at that, but that's kind of how I see her. Sometimes.
And of course, she's like all the good painters.
Fine arts.
Yeah, she's what you would call is it a fine artist?
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
But she didn't really have any formal training. She's just learned over the years. She would say the Holy Spirit teaches me.
and that's true. But she has taken courses.
Oh yeah, that's true. Here and there. Yeah.
And she has been judged into galleries. Part of her. Would she like to sell her paintings? Sure, she would. But at the same time, there's this. She's not interested in that part. That's why a lot of artists really don't get recognized until they've been dead for like 200 years, the good ones.
Yeah.
They're not into that. They're into their art. They're into the life around that. They're into some of the hard times and suffering that comes without eating for a couple of days.
Yeah.
You kick something in their system to produce something. I don't understand it. I just see it and understand that that's the way they are. They just see the world through a different lens, and it can be frustrating for the people that can't see it through that same lens because they have a hard time communicating
Sure.
how they're looking at that tree.
We're back to that, like how you view something again. Yeah. And we
So
all have to.
back to the hormone thing.
Uh-huh.
God, we get off on all this other
I
stuff.
know. We're sorry, audience. It's Dad's fault. Just kidding. It's not his fault.
The hormone thing, there are hormones in your body. And sometimes people are born with a hormone that is not fully active.
Mm-hmm.
Take, in this case, the hormone that controls your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
keeps a handle on it, caps it to a certain point, or keeps you going down the trail a certain way. If you have a weak one, your behavior, makes you do things that normally with a good hormone in that area you wouldn't do. So if you go in and have a blood test by these folks that are practicing that, research and have clinics, they can tell in your blood if you're lacking in a certain hormone.
Which can affect mood, for sure.
Oh, they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different things. It can fix knees. Say, for example, if a lot of people go and have knee surgery when they start getting older because they just beat them to death, and they go under the knife. $35,000-$40,000 later, which is covered by insurance, of course.
Yeah, that's something.
They get a new knee. However, if you go in there and have those red cell injections that they take out of your bloodstream in your own body, and then with red light therapy, it heals those knees without going under the knife. Good stuff. Same with the hormone for your behavior. You take that guy out of prison, do a blood test, prove it that's that hormone that's weak, and engage that therapy to that hormone, his behavior will change.
It could.
And one of my friends,
They definitely have an influence.
that owns a clinic up in Brainerd, Minnesota.
You gonna plug him or no?
I'm going to plug him just a little bit because I don't have any permission or anything.
Okay.
But I know he'd agree with what I'm saying. I'm no fear there.
We believe.
Yeah. His wife, they have young children, 3, 5, 7 years old, kind of type of a deal. Nice family, no doubt. And his wife one day told him that you've been yelling at the kids a lot. Please don't do that. And he's a smart guy. And it hit him. He started thinking about going, he has been. And he said, Dave, I don't want to yell at my kids.
So it's very unconscious until she said something.
Kinda, and he's a busy guy.
Yeah. It's easy to do.
I get that. And he's tired at the end of the day.
Sure.
And,
Self-aware, apparently. If he's able to hear that and go,
oh, he's smart.
Yeah.
And his wife is smart too, and he knows she's smart, and he knows she wouldn't say that if she wasn't concerned.
Right.
She wasn't just bitching.
Right.
Like,
She had been thinking about it.
Out. What
Yeah.
the hell's wrong with you? Type thing. You're the guy that, I don't do the garbage duty. Anyway.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, he went in the next morning and had one of his nurses draw his blood. And they did the test on it. And it came back, he had a hormone that was out of joint. So he treated himself. He got a pretty good deal of it because he owns it.
Right, yeah.
He went through the process, getting the injections, back in his bloodstream, and it calmed him down around his kids.
Ain't that something?
Now he's aware of it, but then he's got the hormone back that controls that stuff, and it worked. You know, I mean, so you
Testament to
take,
biology.
so you take the guy in prison, you pull him out, and you cure him.
Or balance him.
Yeah. So, but they send him back to prison, because
They didn't take $100 and
the root to the whole deal is prisons make a lot of money. They don't want to
they
lose.
do.
They're not going to buy off and something like that. Let's just keep charging the taxpayer.
Personal opinion, audience, but yeah, okay.
I mean, they're not in it. They're in it to win it. They're privately owned, most of them. Except the military ones, I think. For what I know, and so if you could catch some of this stuff early on in your children.
Yeah, you'd think it would be like part of primary care,
You
right?
think instead of shooting them up with 107 different vaccinations
Or ADHD meds, or
that don't work anyway.
yeah.
And screws around with other things more than it helps anything.
Yeah.
It's not a cure. It's not a nothing.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Adverse Childhood Experiences study. You can find it on the CDC site. The longest longitudinal study ever done by the CDC and Kaiser Foundation. And regardless of what you think of the CDC, they have the dollars, but the Kaiser Foundation is a nonprofit. And what they found over decades on all subgroups, so we're talking around the world, we're talking about Black people, white people, Hispanic people, poverty, rich, some things that were, some things that were consistent were this, you have a certain ACE score of trauma in your childhood. It was a very clear predictor of the disorders you'd have later in life.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's all connected. It's just fixing the unconnected problem.
You heard it first, people. Go to your chiropractor. What was it? Did they have a clinic name, or are you not going to plug it?
I'm not going to plug it.
Okay.
Not
yet.
For this,
All right. We'll be respectful.
Permission from.
Yeah.
I know he'd give it, but
yeah. Well, you can send him the video and ask him.
It's a courtesy thing.
Yeah, that's respectful. I appreciate that. Well, this has been interesting. We're out of time, but I know we didn't get to a song today, but that's okay because I think this was a really important topic that will affect lots of people. We hope that it helps some of you what Dad said, shift your frame, or at least, consider looking at this a little closer. There's plenty of research on my website already done for you, and references. So feel free to go out there and do your own digging. But religious trauma, minority stress theory, all those things are really relevant and important. And don't be so hard on yourself, guys. We like to, in our culture, we like to point at behavior right away. But like you said, we sometimes don't take the little bit of time to look at the possible underlying causes that sometimes can be just, solved with a few dandelions or a few chiropractor visits or whatever it is.
What's the word on that? You're beautifully and fearfully
Made.
and on wonderfully made.
Yeah.
And that is true.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have a little hiccup here and there and a flaw? Maybe. But there's ways of, figuring it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we so appreciate you. Stay tuned. We're dropping episodes pretty like it's hot like a trot lately. Comment. We'd really like to hear some feedback. We haven't been getting a ton, and I don't know if that's a configuration problem on my end. Let's look into that. Don't forget to visit my mom and Aunt Penny's website if you feel like being a good neighbor. They would appreciate it. They're trying to find their audience, and they definitely could use some booster.
From the forge
Until next
to the
time.
mine, every story finds its time. Raise your voice and pass the key. Our song lives in you and me. Grandma brought the harmony, Grandpa brought the tune. One side forged the iron bright, one worked beneath the moon. One knew fire, one knew stone, one learned strength when standing alone. Now the old songs call us near. Every generation's here. Strike the iron, lift the light, sing together through the night. From the forge to the mine, every story finds its time. Fire above, coal below, love keeps teaching us to grow. Turn the key, don't fear the flame. Every heart can heal the same. From the forge to the mine, every story finds its time. Uppsala still hums the tune. Pennsylvania joins in soon. Sunday harmonies fill the air. Every voice has something to share. Not just history on a shelf. Every verse rewrites itself. Pull a chair and sing along. You belong inside the song. Shalom! Peace to those who've come before. Peace to those who'll come once more. May our stories carry truth. May our laughter carry grace. May love always leave a place. From the forge to the mine, every story finds its time. Raise your voice, pass the key, leave a lighter legacy. The ancestors sang before us, now it's our turn. Let the dove land where it may. Wait, don't roll the credits yet. Ladies and gentlemen, one final announcement from the Kingdom Theater. If you've been decoding every symbol, every silence, every joke, remember, not every silence is a puzzle. Some silences are invitations. Looking for the director's commentary. The Dove Protocol continues after the credits. Some stories are sung, some are discussed, some are simply lived. Before you laugh at another family story, remember your own table. The Kingdom audit begins at home. Be kind to the ushers, be kind to the builders, be kind to one another. The lights stay on, the coffee is warm, the builder is still building. The story continues. Oh! One more thing. The director's commentary remains open. Until next time. End transmission.